Hi friends, Renee Keese here with Carolina Creative. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here with more card making ideas. Today I'm going to play with detailed succulents and use just a very simple card layout that can be easily adapted. But you can see that this is going to have a lot of details to it, and so I'm going to use 3 different colors to get the depth of all of this, all these different images. So let me flip my camera down to my work area here and get started. I've picked a pool party card base, and this paper coordinated with it. This came from the Softly Stippled paper, which is, it went with the Stippled Roses, but now it's either Last Chance or Discontinued. Any paper with a subtle background, I mean, you can see this is just a woven effect, and I thought that was going to look really cool with this. And then I have die cut black, Lost Lagoon, and white. So this is a square that is 2 3/4. This is 3, and the black is 3 1/4. So they will all layer, and I think the black is just going to kind of make it pop. So let me start with my stamping. And I'm going to do my insert side by side. I'm going to do 2 different sizes of the flower. And I've picked 3 colors I'm working with. The first being Pool Party to coordinate with my card base. I went ahead on these big stamps and just put a little blue dot with a Sharpie so that I know exactly where the top is, or what I'm going to call the top. And that way, if I want to move it a little bit off center, I can easily do that. But I think it's going to make my life easier by knowing where they match up. Okay, so first I'm just going to stamp what will be my base color. Let me clean that and set it aside. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the smaller stamp, because I want to put this inside and do this here. Okay, so there's 2 parts. I'm done with Pool Party, I think. So now I'm going to open my Lost Lagoon, and I'm picking the second, whoa! The second, and I didn't get it on me. That's amazing, isn't it? The second stamp, and I'm going to ink this up in Lost Lagoon, and this is going to give me more details. And so now I know exactly, if I want to line it up exactly, I can, but I'm going to, that it does shift it just a little bit so that you have all the little leaves or points coming out at different directions. Okay, so that's that. I did want to use Lost Lagoon. I was going to try something different, and I'm going to see if I like this. I'm putting a Happy Birthday sentiment onto Flirty Flamingo, which is giving away what my next color is going to be. So let's see if I like this. If not, I'll change it out to Pool Party or to something that's a little more tame. For right now, that was what I was thinking. I wanted to give this some blue-green and pink edges. So let's see how this works. All right, and so now, again, I know where this is supposed to go. I'm going to give it a little spin to the left. Yep, and that gives me some more details. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the inside of my card. So, and this one I didn't mark, but I can see where it's supposed to go. And again, they do offset. So it does give me, it does give me some more details. All right. I'm going to set those aside because I think I'm not going to stamp anything else on the inside. Let me move the ink out of the way and show you how I'm going to assemble this. Now, I went with a full piece from my background paper. This could easily be just a 2.5 inch or even a 3 inch strip. And you'll see as this card goes together, it can be put together a lot of different ways. You can do it portrait, you can do it landscape, you can change the size and shape of where I stamped. You can even use a piece of Designer Series paper. If you've got a really pretty paper you want to focus on, instead of stamping, oh, I didn't get that straight. Give that a little nudge. Yep. You could easily just use a piece of designer paper and mat it like this, and it would be really pretty. Okay, so let me put my background. Here's all these rose leaves. I'm not going to use that, although I did like that paper when I was stamping and die cutting the rose shapes. Those leaves looked really cool. But I think this was a better use this way. So now I'm going to layer this up. Let me put... So far, I am not even using my tape runner. I'm just using liquid glue to do this. And like I said, I think the black, it could go just like this, and that would be fine. But I'm thinking the black is really going to make this pop. Now, I could have put dimensionals behind this as well, but I wanted to use dimensionals for my sentiment. So like I said, a lot of different ways you can do this. You can then center this. You can make it offside. I actually think I like this centered because I'm going to pop this off and put it, well, actually I'm not going to center it. I'm going to put it a little higher. Yep, like that. And this time, because this has got now a little bit more weight to it with all these pieces, I am going to use my Stampin' Seal. All right, that should do it. So I said move this up just a little bit. And then I grabbed my dimensionals and then I put my ink on it. Let's use some dimensionals for, here we go, for my sentiment. 3 or 4 should do it, just to give it some support back here. I'm just going to use my thumbnail or my index finger to put a little dent in there and peel those right off. And so now it's going to say happiest birthday. And I did have a little bow in a pool party, and I might just put that, I don't think I want it on the sentiment. I think I want it off to the side. So like I said, lots of different ways you could do this. And this is a little bit chunky, so I think I'm going to put two glue dots behind this just to help stabilize it. And put this over to the side like that. Okay, so there you have one way of assembling this card. I've got, 3 layers here on top of a layer of paper. I could have put another piece of cardstock behind that and framed it, but this, I really like the way this popped all by itself. So let me show you one way of doing this. Now I stamped this in 3 different colors. I did 3 different colors here too, but I started with, what's it called? Seafoam, soft seafoam. I kept saying soft something. The soft seafoam is the first layer, and then Pool Party, and then Lost Lagoon. And then I used 2 dies from the Nature Spotlight. So that gave it a very different vibe, but it's the same paper, same stamp, just a different shapes and different way to mat it and give you a very different look for your card. So there's my card making ideas for today. It is a very basic layout, but very effective. It's a beautiful card. This one I stamped on the inside because it says you're on my mind. It's thinking of you. I didn't want to stamp anything else because it leaves me room or somebody else room to write inside there. So there's my ideas for today. If you like the products or the projects that you see here, you can find me on the Stampin' Up! Network. It's renee.keese@stampinup.net. And then you can also find me at Carolina Creative or hashtag Carolina Creative. Thank you for joining me today. Stay tuned for the next video. I appreciate you.